What we're going to talk about here in this video, you understand, is part and parcel to what we have just previously discussed in terms of the pay window and magic items. And if there's one magic item, one out there that is the most gratuitous abuser of the tremendous amount of magic items and why you shouldn't give them to players, in my estimation, if you will, is the bag of holding. The bag of holding is, if there ever was one, a very obvious game mechanic. For me, it's even hard to suspend the disbelief when the bag of holding comes in. It's clearly only designed by the game master to, or by the game designers, to give you a way to carry around absurd amounts of wealth. Now, I've never found it particularly fun or useful, because pretty much what's things really go in the bag of holding? You know, I mean, maybe you threw your armor in there or something, periodically, but it's pretty much almost just the junk drawer of Dungeons and Dragons. And I see it as a tremendous amount of needless paperwork. I remember the only game I've ever had one in, the character, pages upon pages of magic items, so much gold and other denominations of coins that who even cares? They don't mean anything at that point. You know, I mean, I probably have bought a kingdom with the amount of gold I have. I mean, I probably bought half the Sword Coast, not just a kingdom. So it also, the defenders of it are going to say, oh, well, it makes things easier. I can just throw all the treasure in there. But having to deal with something like a dragon's hoard is a wonderful thing. If you can just scrape it all in a bag of holding, boy, that was anticlimactic. And just think about it like this, man. If you're going to write a novel, a fantasy novel, would you put that bag of holding in there? I mean, really? And that's really kind of the way I like to look at it. We call it the show in the audience, and I'll probably slowly customize my viewing audience here with the terminology that my gaming group uses. And the way we look at it is, you know, it should seem realistic. Like if someone was actually watching the game, and they'd be like, "Ooh, that was just booty," or they come up and be like, "Wow, that was, you know, that makes sense." That there's a lot of coherency to the ideas that you're pitching here, and I can buy that. I can believe that from an audience sort of standpoint, as if, you know, the game itself or we're sort of like a show. Now, not everyone's going to get with that style, but that's, you know, the way we like to view it, and it's a useful reference term in a lot of ways, and I'll probably elaborate more on that later. But I don't want to get too off topic here, talking about the bag of holding. And really think about that. If you were going to write a novel, would you have characters have so many magic items that they meant absolutely nothing to the reader? So many magic items that they're just throwing them in a bag of holding. Really think about it, it's basically a little pocket dimension, a little demi-plane of itself. And of course, there's the old ripping the bag of holding open with a sword of sharpness, or Vorpal sword. I don't know how much of that lingered into 3rd edition. Those sort of debates, you know, and conversations are really well in the past for me. But it's kind of equating it out to a nuclear bomb, or putting two of them in each other, or being able to somehow turn them out ways and detonate them. I've never thought that bags of holding were good ideas. All they do is allow you to take that dragon's hoard and just take a broom and just sweep it all up into the bag. How much more entertainment value is it if you stumble upon the dragon's hoard, not realizing, you know, maybe you fought the dragon or what have you, but not realizing that you now, and often dragons are in very isolated places, not realizing that you needed to be able to haul away hundreds upon hundreds of pounds of metal and coins and weapons and such like that. So you have to go and find out ways to do that, and it in itself becomes a journey. Now you're basically become merchants, and you're pulling back your cargo of money, and, you know, things can ambush you. You can have interesting stories of that, and I think you really deprive yourself when you use the bag of holding. I think that it's kind of a neat sloppiness in that it really doesn't give you the feeling of a fantasy game. It just sort of gives you the ability to throw all these extras in there and to have tremendous amounts of coins, and not having to have the extra amount of game ideas, like, okay, well, I have these coins here, I'm leaving these coins in this location, I'm going to give coins to this trusted individual in a religion to keep for me. If the world uses a bank system, you're investing coins in a bank, or in a town, and in a way to be paid back, or you're buying tracts of land, or herds of sheep, and those sort of ideas, they just get cold out. Why bother with any of that when you can just right into the bag of holding? I hate the bag of holding. If you like it, please explain why and defend yourself below.